watched his first match that I got the chance to, I was like, holy crap, this guy's small. But for being as small as he is, he's one of the most gifted. He's kind of got almost that Daniel Bryan feel, where it doesn't matter, the size doesn't matter, so to speak. So if you get a chance to check out Takagi, definitely check it out. The fact his association with LIJ just heightens, his character, but they call him the Dragon for a reason. Next match after that, Jushin Thunder Liger, Yoshihashi taking on Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr., ZSJ. Next match, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, and Taguchi taking on Jay White, Switchblade, Chase Owens, and Taiji Ishimori. Coolest thing about this, Jay White has been one of those guys who's been part of Smash Wrestling at one point. I got to see him face Tyson Dukes. And I think it was for the Smash Wrestling Championship, which was phenomenal. To know what New Japan has done with him is absolutely amazing. So hopefully they continue to build his character over there. Next match.
He's unexpected to be the leader of the Bullet Club like he has, but they've done a good job of making him step up and be believable as the new leader.
Yeah, he's got that cocky, arrogant kind of feel to him. So it's Shawn Michaels kind of style, or Adam Cole style. But he's definitely one of those guys who's gifted as far as his personality as well as his in-ring style goes. Next match of the night, never openweight championship match. Taichi defending the title against Tomohiro Ishii, Ishii's former champion. Again, Ishii is one of those guys that definitely check him out. He's hardcore, kind of old school style. He's just a solid brick house, and it's interesting to watch different styles against him because Ishii is just one of those guys, almost like Jim the Anvil Neidhart style, where just kind of you can't get to him. He's going to get knocked down and keep getting back up, and he's a huge part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Next match of the night, IWGP Tag Team Championship match. Guerrillas of Destiny, Tamatonga and Tangaloa taking on Evil and Sonata LIJ. Guerrillas of Destiny, if anything at all, if you're going to relate them to anybody, it'd be the Usos, just a couple notches up. And it'll be interesting to see once Gallows and Anderson's contracts expire, whether or not they're going to head back over to New Japan, because that'll be the first team they face is the Guerrillas of Destiny, otherwise known as GOD God. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match taking place next. Dragon Lee defending against Will Ospreay. See a new champion taking place in this one. Again, Ospreay has not moved up to the heavyweight division, so which is why he's getting his title shot here. Next match, IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. Kota Ibushi as champion, taking on former champion Tetsuya Naito. He's a leader at LIJ. No reason in the world to put the title back on Naito, so I see Ibushi, winning this one. Whether or not we see the appearance of Kenny Omega in this Dominion coming up, it remains to be seen. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Ibushi go over it and then Omega challenge Ibushi for the title. Omega was former junior heavyweight champion as well as heavyweight champion, but he was never intercontinental champion. So it makes sense, and especially going into G1 Climax coming up in the month of July, August. And main event for the night, and your thoughts on this, Sean, as far as who you might think is going to win. So you got heavyweight champion Kazuki. I will get out the Google Translator next show. Anyways, Okada is taking on Chris Jericho. With regards to Moxley winning off of Juice Robinson for the U.S. title, do you see Jericho, and they're billing this as the Rainmaker versus the Painmaker, you see Jericho taking this from Okada, or do you think it's too soon?
I can see Jericho taking it. New Japan has done, I think, well in recovering from the loss of guys like Cody, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, since they're not really part of New Japan now that they're AEW. I know Omega, I guess, has a contract with AEW that allows him to do work with New Japan still. And that's where, obviously, Jericho and Moxley have agreements that way. But it looks like they're two separate entities. They're not really working together. New Japan wants to keep their relationship with their current established people, like Ring of Honor, intact instead of going with AEW at the moment. But much like how Moxley they capitalized on his popularity at the moment. Jericho is somewhat in the same driver's seat as Moxley with his uh, influence on the main scene of wrestling and popularity overall. And so anything involving Jericho gets people's eyes on the product and attention, and it would be right for New Japan to try and capitalize on that, especially with the loss of, as I said, the Young Bucks, Cody, and Omega. Putting the belt on Jericho gets eyes on their product. And right now, you kind of need that. There's a huge surge of wrestling fans looking for uh, an alternative to WWE out there, and this would do so. And with being a name like Jericho, I see them pulling the trigger.
Yes. So for me, as a hardcore fan and fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'd rather see Omega finally go up against Ibushi. But the biggest rumors on the internet right now is the fact is Jericho comes back and makes a statement. Sorry, not Jericho. Omega comes back and makes a statement in the match between Okada and Jericho. And if you think about it, Omega's got history with both guys. One of, I think it might have been Meltzer's first ever 6-star match was Omega versus Okada. And then you think about the history between Jericho and Omega. It can go any way you want it to. And the reaction from the fans there in Osaka Hall for Omega making his return would be absolutely phenomenal. But if you have a chance, again, New Japan Pro Wrestling presents Dominion June 9th, Osaka Joe Hall in Japan. I got to learn to slow down my words. Anyways, bell time over there is going to be 1600, which is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which equates to 2 a.m. over here, and it's not too bad. So it'll be 2 a.m. this coming Saturday. If you get a sour taste in your mouth from a WWE event taking place, this will take that sour out of your mouth. So, anyways, Sean, let me do the New Japan stuff. So I guess up next is going to be the WWE stuff coming up tomorrow, eh?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly touch on two things. Trevor Harris had asked a question of what do you think was the best match of the Super Jays. He's going with the main event.
Like, are we talking the final show?
Yeah, I'm going to assume it was the final show that he's asking about. So, what was your best match?
Geez, and that's 15 nights of matches.
So let's go with the final match, like the final night.
So final night?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a toss-up between the two, simply because of the fact you've got pure wrestling versus kind of entertainment hype, right? So think about it this way. You got Juice Robinson defending against Jon Moxley, who's an unknown in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But the hype work, the promo work that they had put into that, including social media, made that match worth it. And when you talk about what fans were talking about post 26, and I'm talking, Best of Super Juniors 26, it was Moxley versus Robinson. However, the hardcore wrestling fan was talking about Takagi against Will Ospreay. So it's a mix for me. Think about it this way. So I'm just looking here. So Moxley and Robinson went 24 minutes. Ospreay versus Takagi went 33 minutes. So you talk about entertainment versus pure wrestling. And I'm not saying that Moxley match wasn't pure wrestling, but there was more of an entertainment kind of hardcore style to that. So it's a toss-up between the two. So if you talk about pure wrestling, definitely the Ospreay match. If you talk about what's more entertaining for a fan, like as a pro wrestling fan, it's got to be Moxley versus Robinson.
Okay. So Trevor, that's your answer from Chris, who ended up taking that in. We're going to take a break, come back with a quick look at the calendar for wrestling events coming in Ontario and what's coming up with AEW before we jump into WWE.
Scumbags of Wrestling are always looking for ways of giving back to the community, and we're going to do just that with Ethan's Fight, happening on June 23rd at Montcalm Secondary School, right here in London, Ontario. The card starts at 1 p.m. and goes till 4, with tickets starting at $10 for kids, $15 for general admission, and $20 for VIP. Ethan's Fight is a charity wrestling show to benefit Ethan Hayes. In January 2019, a cancerous mass was discovered in 6-year-old Ethan's brain. He immediately had surgery at Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto to remove the mass and relieve the swelling caused by the buildup of cerebral spinal fluid. The 8-hour surgery removed most of the mass, but some elements were attached to his brainstem and could not be extracted. Along with the remnants of the tumor in his brain, cancer was also present throughout Ethan's spine. Luckily, he qualified for a study which would combat cancer with revolutionary form of proton radiation treatment only available at St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. The money raised will help alleviate the financial burden that Ethan's family will be facing during Ethan's upcoming chemotherapy at Sick Kids in Toronto. Ethan's mother has taken a 1-year leave of absence from work for both her jobs to care for Ethan through all phases of his treatment. The main event is going to be a big one, with the first time ever meeting of Impact Wrestling and London's own Cody Deaner taking on the King of the North, Carter Mason, one of independent wrestling's hottest wrestlers who is having an astonishing comeback year. You won't want to miss this main event and all the other matches that are set to happen during Ethan's Fight, the charity wrestling event show happening at Montcalm Secondary School on June 23rd at 1 p.m. Check out Facebook for more information.
Okay, and we're back. We still have Chris Maloney from the Sharpshooter Podcast with us. Still hanging in there, Chris, as we're into 2.5 hours almost of our podcast.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to make money off this so I can quit my day job and then have more time to focus towards this.
Yeah, my wife would love it if I could do this as well and find a way of monetizing.
Wait, hold on. Your wife would love it if you could do this?
Well, if I could monetize it, at least. Beyond that,
okay, so
she'd be totally down with me doing it all the time if I was monetizing.
I tell you this. So Christine, don't get me wrong. She loves my admiration as well as my love for the wrestling business and doing podcasts and everything else. But she says the exact same thing. Can you monetize on this, please? And I'm like, I'm trying. So I guess we're both in the same boat with that one.
Yeah, well, the more we get out there, the more it'll get recognized. So I thank everybody who is on listening to our podcast. And there's, as I said before, there's 14 different outlets currently that you can listen to us on. And the bigger we get, the more information we can put out there. And it's great to be a part of that. I only got 2 events to actually pop up on the Ontario calendar for this weekend. There's probably a whole lot more, but I haven't found them. There's Golden Glory 4, which is happening for Barrie Wrestling on Saturday, June 8th. And the bell time is 5 o'clock. Plus, Rock Solid Wrestling is in Hanover at 7 p.m. And that is at a Cole John Diefenbaker Senior School in Hanover. And that's Rock Solid Wrestling. So I'm sure there's more out there. Those are what's been located by me. But anywhere
can I mention one more?
Find independent wrestling. Yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to update my calendar as well. But the other event that's listed is June 8th, GEW Clash Day Chevalier 2, taking place in the Quebec City names are absolutely unique. Okay, I'm going to say Quebec. Anyways, it was GEW. But anyways, the main reason I'm bringing this up is because of the fact, looks like the main event And this is French, so I'm trying to